Hello everybody, it's me, the shiniest substitute teacher going in the land. It is I, Andrew, and I am here for NXT Round 2, Electric Boogaloo. Don't worry though, don't you panic. I tell you what, Tommy's back next week and you will get much more professionalism than you'll get from me. But however, it don't matter about that for now, does it? Because I tell you what, we've got some nice little grades to do, haven't we? So hey, you sit down, you get your Yorkshire tea out. I ain't got a cup with me today. You get your Yorkshire tea out, you sit down, you have a nice little sip of your brew and get nice and comfy. Because I tell you what, it's time for NXT Graded. So we're kicking things off straight away tonight. It is Timothy Thatcher and Tommaso Ciampa versus the Britain Brawlers. So we get a little bit of context for where this match has come from. So the night prior, we see MSK with Ciampa and the Britain Brawlers, and backstage, you know, Ciampa's there going, well, since our MSK are a bit injured there, why don't I just call up little Toothless Timmy and we'll have ourselves a match against you Britain Brawlers? And the Britain Brawlers like, whoa, sweet child of mine, and we'll be having none of that. If we do have a match, it's going to be a non-title match. And Ciampa's like, yeah, that's fair enough, because you know what you need? If you're going to put them tag team titles on the line, that's going to need some bollocks, pal. It kicks off mental. Thatcher and Burch start off in this one. We get some nice tag team techers between them that sees Thatcher take control. Then we see Lorcan and Ciampa come in, and you know what? The techers keep on going. So Thatcher and Ciampa are very much in control of this one until blooming Burch comes along, straight clothesline there to Thatcher, properly folds him up, and we see Thatcher roll out of the ring holding his neck. The ref comes over to check on him as we go into commercial break. So after the break, we see Thatcher, he's getting a shoe-in from the Britain Brawlers until he finally manages to get the hot tag in. And who's coming? A choo-choo-choo! It's Ciampa, it's choo-choo Ciampa. He's coming in, he's taking them all out. And then we get a nice little spot where Burch is in the corner of Ciampa and Thatcher, and Ciampa and Thatcher are just like rotating out, like tagging each other in. We get straight chops and straight strikes. Oh, it's bloody lovely, I tell thee. Fast forward a bit and we see chaos ensue here. Lots of knees, lots of half and half suplexes, even some just big baldy boys everywhere, sprawled out in the ring. And this leaves Timothy and Burch, they're out there, they're trying to get the hot tags to their partners. But who is up there at the top of the ramp? Timothy's looking, who's that? It's big old Imperium. They're just all stood there. And this leaves Ciampa to get distracted. So Timothy can't get the hot tag in, but Burch manages to get the hot tag in on Lorcan. They get him up for that combo wombo DDT combination for the 1, 2, 3. And that is your match. I tried to do 1, 2, 3. I went 1, 2, 3. I'll keep going. Giving this one a B, really good match between two solid tag teams. And Thatcher and Ciampa, we talk about throwing together tag teams quite a lot in the WWE, but these two feel so good together, and they mesh well with a lot of the sort of stiffer striking hard hitters in the NXT tag team division. So yeah, this is fantastic. And throw Imperium in the mix as well, and whoo-wee, we're in for some magic. I'm excited. Roddy Strong out in the ring next. He wants answers for what happened last week between he and Adam Cole. And he's like, do you know what? If the Undisputed Era meant anything to you, Adam, you get your body out here right now. Cue, it's pow pow, finger gun ab man. Finn Bálor, he is back. And he's like, do you think Adam's going to give you an explanation? Do you think he's going to do any of that for you? Roddy then shuts him down. He says, hey, Big Bal, if anything, we were fine until you showed up, pal. You showed up and everything went tits up, didn't it? Oh, bad stuff. Don't know if I can say that word. Balor then says, do you really know why the Undisputed Era broke up? It's because of this title that I'm pointing to on my shoulder, the NXT title. He then says, I know how to get Adam Cole out here. And he looks to the camera and he says, Adam Cole, me and you, next week, NXT title match. It's set. We're getting an NXT title match next week. And then Balor goes on to say, do you know what, Roddy? You'll never be a leader unless you get greedy, unless you get a killer instinct. And he's going on. And then Roddy's just like, I've had enough of this, pal. And properly hits him in face. Properly hits Balor in the face. And them two start having a scrap on the floor until the refs come in and pry those boys apart. We then cut to the Central Florida Psychiatric Center as we are getting straight into the Austin Theory therapy session here. Obviously, this is all about the Dexter Lumis problem, and Gargano's like, excuse me, Miss Lady, who's a therapy lady, she's called Linda. Excuse me, Miss Linda, can you tell our pal Austin here, can you tell him that kidnapping is not a holiday, because apparently he thinks it's a holiday. It is not a holiday, Austin. Theory then tries to convince everybody, look, it was just two dudes chilling out. Dexter needs a friend, it's a cold, hard world out there. To which Indy then replies, yeah, I'd warm him up. Oh dear. We also see Indy, she's like scribbling something on a notepad there, and Johnny's like, what's that? Yeah, give it to me, give it to me. And she's like, no, get off it. But Johnny's like, ugh, and then he gets it and he reads it, and it's like loads of hearts and stuff. She's drawn loads of hearts on this notepad that says, Mrs. Indy Hartwell Wrestling Loomis. And Johnny's like, what have you done? You've besmirched this name that I've given you on Christmas Day. So Johnny can't believe what Theory and Indy are saying here, and he gets a little bit frantic, to which our therapy lass, her name's Linda, she's like, oh, I think all this stuff's bubbling up some of your past here, Mr. Johnny Gargano. And he's like, hey, Linda, nah, none of that, I'll have none of that, you're not turning this round on me. To which Linda's like, you're getting a bit too frantic, get out of my, go on, scram, get out of my office. And then we cut to a screen that says, to be continued. Ooh. Next up, it's Cameron Grimes. He's out there, he's backstage, sat with a backstage producer, and he's like, do you know what, I want to make some changes around here. I want to turn the CWC into the CGA, the Cameron Grimes Auditorium. The backstage producer is then like, can you even approve that, pal? And then Cameron Grimes is like, I got enough money, I can approve anything. Hooey. And then just as Cameron Grimes, he's counting all these salad green flakes or whatever he called his dollars last week, a big old hand clamps down on his shoulder, and who could it be? It's only Billiam William Regal, and he is not best pleased that Cameron Grimes clocked a producer last week during the basketball shenanigans, and he's like, do you know what, pal? I'm scheduling a match for you tonight against Bronson Reed. Ooh, I'm excited, give it to me, please. We're also then told that tonight's main event is going to be Roderick Strong and Finn Bálor. This is shaping up to be a good night. It's the next match of the night, and it's Aliyah versus Ember Moon. And Ember's very much just getting all the strikes in on this one. Nice arm drags and stuff until Aliyah gets a, whoa, one of them. She gets a nice forearm in on Moon, and Moon's like, oh, all right. Do you wanna come on then? Come and have another go. And that goads blooming Aliyah in to go for another one, and then whoop, nope, naughty, it's a trap, as Admiral Akbar would say, as Ember Moon then takes control once again. Aliyah eventually mounts a little comeback. She gets Ember Moon into the turnbuckle and then hits a nice big boot, only for Ember Moon to come back again. She's very much in control of this whole entire match. We'll fast forward a little bit, and Aliyah has Moon up on the turnbuckle, getting her ready for a superplex, but Moon throws her down to the mat for her troubles, and then cue Robert Stone and Jessi Kamea. Robert Stone getting on the apron to distract the ref, whilst Jessi Kamea, she tries to go up and push Moon off the turnbuckle, but Moon kicks her down to the ground, and who's that? It's only Shotzi Blackheart. She comes running up the steps, double clotheslines Jessi Kamea and Robert Stone, which allows Moon to set Aliyah up for the Eclipse, and then we get a 1, 2, 3, and that is your match. Giving this one a C-, it might seem like I skipped quite a bit of this match, but I actually really didn't. There wasn't much to it. Ember Moon doesn't look particularly strong in this because Aliyah hasn't really been winning her matches on NXT lately, and Aliyah just she got kind of jobbed out, which is a bit of a shame. Where the Robert Stone brand stuff goes from here, I'm not entirely sure, but I kind of hope that they mix it up a little bit and make us care about it again. But yeah, it's a C- from me. Mackenzie Mitchell backstage now with Timothy Thatcher and Tommaso Ciampa, and she basically just asks what was going on earlier in the night with Imperium there, to which Timothy Thatcher says, look, we all have a past, and they keep on throwing my past in my face. He's talking about ring camp. That's kind of cool. Yeah. Ciampa then interjects and says, look, Thatcher's past with Imperium is exactly that. It's in the past. And then they walk off and, ooh, a little bit of tension there. Please don't break them up as a team already, because those two together, fantastic as a team. But I wouldn't mind seeing a Timothy Thatcher / Imperium / ring camp reunion thing going on there. That would be quite nice too. And back to the wrestling, as it is our third match of the night. It's the WWE Women's Tag Team Champions Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax against Dakota Kai and Raquel González for those said tag team titles. This one starts off with frequent tags between Shayna and Nia. They're really wearing down Kai in this one. Shayna even tries to go for the joint manipulation early, but Kai manages to reverse it, get out of the way, mount a little teeny tiny comeback until Shayna's like, nope, and chucks her straight out of the ring. We then get a really weird stare down between all four women outside the ring, and I don't know what it is about NXT and stare downs recently, but that seems to be a thing that maybe we could back off on a little bit there, Trips. Maybe we could back off a little bit. Anyway, during the break, we see Kai get a tag to González. González takes it to Shayna, only to tag Kai back in, but that proves to be a silly move as Shayna and Nia once again get the control in this one. We come back from break, and with a little tiny bit of help from González there, Kai manages to mount a bit of a comeback. She gets that nice running boot to Shayna in the corner. However, Shayna, she's back on it. She's back on the front foot again in no time at all. And she manages to sweep the legs out from underneath Kai, who then falls on the apron, and Shayna just goes to town on Kai's knee. Shayna gets a tag into Jax, and she will not let up on that knee. She even gets Kai up in like this stretch muffler position thing, and she's just carrying her around. We even get like a really cool spot where as she's carrying her around in the stretch muffler, she's like slamming Kai's head into the turnbuckle as well, and it looks pretty brutal. And be careful, Nia. Shayna gets tagged back in, but Kai manages to do the super kick combo. Whoa, one straight to the knee and whoa, one straight to the face. It's very nice. And can she make the hot tag though to González? Yes, she can. And she gets the hot tag in and goes on a tear on Shayna. But Shayna manages to get a cheeky little knee to the head of González and then tags in Nia Jax. It's powerhouse time, everybody! Until you know it's actually not, because Jax manages to get the tag back onto Shayna Baszler, and we don't get none of the big beefy ba. We don't get any of that, which is pretty sad. But anyway, outside the ring, Jax takes out González, which leaves Kai and Shayna in the ring. Kai tries to get Shayna up into like a GTS position, goes for it, but the knee gives out, so she's on the floor. She goes up again for it, nearly gets it in, but Shayna transforms it into the Karafuda clutch, and she's got it locked in. So as Kai is still locked in the Karafuda clutch, she slogs it over to her corner to make the tag to González, in which she does make the tag. However, the ref doesn't see this, as Jax is on the apron distracting the ref. So González gets in the ring, she powerhouses it over there, and she big boots Nia Jax off the apron, but she also clocks the ref as well, and the ref is down. So on the outside, Jax and González, they tumble over the announce table, which then leaves Shayna Baszler and Dakota Kai in the ring still, and Shayna Baszler clocks in the Karafuda clutch one more time, but there's no ref. But who is here to save the day? It's only Daddy Addy Pierce. He's like, come on. He waves in a ref. He waves in a Raw official who gets straight into the ring and declares the match. It's out. She's out. She's gone. Bloody Dakota Kai, she's gone. She's choked out from the Karafuda clutch, even though she's not the legal woman in this. Shenanigans. This one gets a C+ from me, unfortunately, especially with all the lead and the hype building up to this match from the stuff that happened last week and the women's Dusty Cup stuff. It didn't really gel well with me. I don't think the teams gelled well that together. You've got González in there, who was really underutilized in this match, which makes no sense because she's the powerhouse in all of this. And I was so ready for the women's tag titles to mean something again. Perhaps they will, perhaps this unfolds into another match down the line, which we'll get to soon actually in Graded. But yeah, it just didn't do much for me, and I'm sad that we didn't really get to see these two teams go more than what they could have done, but perhaps we will see that in the future. So yeah, it's a C+ from me. We cut back to therapy now, and our Linda, she's asking Theory, do you know why? Do you know why he kidnapped you the other day? Do you know why he's had his eye on you for so long? To which Theory then says, oh, you know, he's just lonely, he just wants a friend. And then Indy chimes in again and says, oh, I'll be his friend with benefits. Ooh. Then mysteriously, Candice's phone is going off. And she's like, no, Dexter Lumis, he don't want any friends. He don't want friends. He wants victims. Roderick Strong, Cameron Grimes, the list goes on. It goes on and 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 on. So Candice keeps getting text messages blasting Lumis, and she's trying to pass them off as her own thoughts. But then our Linda, she's not daft. She clocks it and goes, hey, I tell you what, Is your hubby texting you from outside? And Candice is like, no, he's not doing such a thing. So our Linda, she storms straight over to the door, opens the door, and who is there with his telephone? Only Johnny Gargano. She throws everybody out. She throws Candice out. She throws Indy out. She throws Johnny out, and she's just like, Austin, you stay here. It's just me and thee. Let's have a chat. She goes on to a show theory that this is a safe space, and she really wants to know what transpired between Austin Theory and Dexter Lumis. To be continued again. Ooh, I don't know what that is. We then get a little promo from Swerve Scott, and he's basically just backing up what he said last week about his opportunities. It is his time for opportunities, and he is coming for Leon Ruff. And I'm excited about this. I like this new aggression from Swerve Scott, and I think Ruff and Swerve together in a feud is going to produce some wonderful, wonderful magic. So I am all down for this new Swerve Scott. We then cut back to the ring, and it's promo time. Who is here? It's only L.A. Knight, and he is like, this has been a long time coming, ladies and gentlemen. And don't mistake this, however, for a childhood dream. No. This is business. The business of LA Knight whooping the ass of anybody who dares step between these ropes. He then goes on to call himself the Tom Brady of wrestling, but no. Tom Brady wishes he was half the man as LA Knight, and then LA Knight says, I'll be the one setting all the records, pal. He then calls out Kyle O'Reilly, Adam Cole, Finn Bálor, calls them the Flippy Dippy Boys, and he's like, do you know what? I won't beat you with pizzazz. I'm just gonna knock 7 shades of plops out of you. He's basically just out to put the whole NXT locker room on notice, and don't call him the GOAT. He's not the GOAT. That's outdated, he says. He is LA Knight, and that is a fact. And this was a fine promo. It wasn't anything groundbreaking. It's nice to see Eli Drake, or LA Knight, in NXT, and it seems as though he's getting himself straight into like the top picture there with the title and stuff. Or maybe is he? I guess we'll find out, because our next match of Bronson Reed and Cameron Grimes is up next. And straight away, this is already phenomenal, because guess what? Cameron Grimes! He's got his rap theme music, which is amazing. I'm so glad that that is his new entrance music. That's so cool. But anyway, to start the match off, Cameron Grimes is there trying to give Bronson Reed his greens. He's trying to pay him off. He's trying to get out of this match. But Bronson's like, get out of it, you dafty. Clocks in with a forearm. And then Bronson Reed is very, very much dominant in this one, leading into the commercial break. Back from break, and Cameron Grimes is getting back into this one. He even does that really cool, like, Spanish fly crossbody thing that he does. He's getting some kicks on Bronson Reed, but Bronson manages to turn the tide, and he gets a flurry of strikes in on his own, and then this massive lariat that just looks brutal. It looks so cool. But Cameron Grimes, he's had enough. He pops his little hat back on, and he's like, I'm off. I'm going anywhere. I want to be anywhere other than here. I'll even go to the moon. He'll even go to the moon. He doesn't want to be in the vicinity of Bronson Reed. But as he's walking away, that sets him up nicely for Bronson to dive outside the ring, take Grimes out, gets him back into the ring. However, who's this? He's back already. It's LA Knight. He's back already. He grabs Cameron Grimes' hat, throws it into the ring, and that distracts the ref as he goes to pick it up and put it back outside the ring. And Bronson Reed is up on the top looking for that nice tsunami splash, but LA Knight comes up, pushes him off, and then that sets him up. That sets Mr. Bronson Reed up for the cave-in for the 1, 2, 3. And Cameron Grimes, he's only bloody gone and done it, hasn't he? This one gets a C+ from me. Again, just shenanigans involving a ref. That seems to be the theme throughout this whole entire show so far. However, I would like to see a triple threat involving LA Knight, Bronson Reed and Cameron Grimes. That could be really cool. And it's just nice to see LA Knight in NXT. However, this being his first action just felt a little bit flat. It didn't really do it for me. So, I mean, the match was all right. It was fast. It was done and dusted before you knew it. But yeah, it gets a C+ from me. We then cut backstage and we see Big Billy Willie Regal and Daddy Addy Pierce having a shouting match after what transpired during the women's tag team title match. We then, later on in the night, see William Regal saying, next week, we are going to make an announcement regarding the matter, and it's going to change the NXT landscape for good. What? Kaden Carter in a backstage interview now, and she gives us an update on Kacy Catanzaro, and she says that she has a partially torn LCL, and we don't know when Kacy will be back, but what Kaden does know is that she doesn't give a damn about what is going on with Xia Li, and all Kaden Carter sees now is red, and she will face Xia Li next week in a match, and it's gonna be a strike fest, everyone. Woo. It's theory therapy time again, and we find out what Austin was doing in those 3 days he was kidnapped by Dexter Lumis. So it turns out he was just in a room with boarded up windows, eating all the cereal he could ever so desire and watching all the cartoons. And Theory just goes on to say, do you know what? He's a nice guy. And then Linda then's like, I just can't fathom. I can't fathom why you think he's a nice guy. Do you know why he brought you back, Austin? In which Theory says, no. Linda then reveals that, do you know what? She was talking to Dexter Lumis before the session. She was getting prepped for this, and she couldn't even get him to shut up. What's going on there? I don't even know. But then she says, do you know what the truth is, Austin? Do you know why Dexter brought you back? It's because he couldn't blooming well stand you, pal. You were out there, he didn't like the way you ate, he thought your fashion sense was awful, and he didn't like the way that you were cutting up his tops to show your mediocre abdominal section. Oh, that's a bit mean, Linda. Poor Austin, he's crying his eyes out. He storms out of the room, runs into Johnny's arms, and Johnny's like, do you know what? You guys, off you go, you guys. I'm gonna go and give this Linda a piece of my mind. And so he walks into the room, and then it's a ruse, everybody. Johnny Gargano, he blooming well paid Linda off to say all these nasty things, didn't he? And apparently it works, because our Austin, he's crying his eyes out, bless him. So yeah, Johnny Gargano, being a naughty boy. Yet again, and our Linda, I can't believe the heel turn Linda. That's just disgusting. So this whole therapy segment, I'm going to give a B+ to. I thought it was really funny and well thought out, and I actually didn't really see the ending coming either, which is weird to think about it, because you know some sort of shenanigans are coming, right? And I thought we'd get the closure, but we don't get the closure. So to find out what actually happened later on will be really cool. And then I'd also like to see just Dexter Lumis with just like Indy Hartwell and Austin Theory as his little proteges. I would really like to see that, and I'm excited to see where this goes, because obviously this feels like it's building up to a title change with Lumis getting the belt off Gargano, and then perhaps even Theory finding out all the lies that Gargano's been telling and stuff, and that leading into something else afterwards. I don't know, but I like this. I like this a lot, and this was one of the better parts of the show, actually. Cut back to the ring, and the next match is Everrise versus Breezango, but no! No, it's not, because as Breezango are coming out to the ring, who is it? Who the blooming heck is it who storms out there and beats him up? It's only Legado del Fantasma. Legado del Fantasma beating up Breezango on the outside, throwing them into the ring post and everything, and into the barricade and stuff, and Everrise are in the ring going, oh, nice work, proper well done, you've done us jobs for us. In which Wilde and Mendoza just look at each other and just like, nah, let's get them as well. So they storm in the ring, and that sends Everrise out there like, oh, we don't want any part of this, thank you. Until, hello, he's actually not dead after last week. It's Esco Santabar. Esco Santabar? It's Santos Escobar. He comes running out and clocks Everrise in the head and gets in the ring and picks up a microphone. He says on the microphone, do not mistake last week's loss as weakness, because if you do, this is what will happen to you. And he points down to the bodies of Everrise and Breezango. And you know what? It feels like a bit of a regression from the Karrion Kross stuff, but I'm hopeful in that there's a really bright future for Legado del Fantasma and for Santos Escobar as well in the big league. So I've got my fingers crossed. Come on, guys, you've got this. You've got this. And we come to main event o'clock. It feels like it's come around pretty fast, this one. It's Finn Bálor versus Roddy Strong. And, oh my goodness gracious me, Roddy Strong, he comes out, there's no UE music anymore, that is not a thing apparently. He's out there with some cool techie metal stuff, it sounds amazing. A nice new like jacket as well, ring jacket, looks really cool. And do you know what? I thought I'd be a lot more sad about Roddy coming out, or any of the UE guys coming out and not having the UE music, but Roddy feels like a star. He feels like a star in the making in this one, and boy howdy, he fair gives it to Balor in this match. And to support that techie metal theme, we get some lovely techie mat wrestling to begin with this one. Lots of headlocks, lots of backbreaker counters into crucifix pins. Oh, it just all looks very, 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 very nice. Balor gets the upper hand early in this one. He's grounding Strong really, really well until Strong comes back with a shoo-wee backbreaker. Oh my goodness, you know the one where it looks like a urinagi? Boof, right onto the knee? It was that one, it looked really cool. We cut to break and we see Strong get the upper hand on Balor. He's like stretching out Balor's back on the ropes. He's really working on the back there. But then as we come back from break, Balor is there and he is working over the arm and the shoulder of Roderick Strong. Most of this one is just Balor working over the shoulder and the arm of Roderick Strong until Roddy gets a nice power slam in there, and then it is backbreaker City Central for Finn Bálor. Ooh, it's not looking good for him. However, it doesn't last too long as Finn gets a chokehold in right in the center of the ring. But do you know what? Because his last name is Strong, ooh, big old Roddy Strong, he perseveres and he manages to get his foot on the bottom rope to get out of the hold. Balor gets a flurry of running chops in on Roddy, but then Roddy comes back with a nice looking clothesline, does them like bouncy rope forearms where he's bouncing back and forwards on ropes and then boshing Balor in the head there. Gets an Olympic slam on Balor as well and a double underhook powerbomb, but he only gets a 2 count. Yeah, what? Both men are absolutely pooped. They've been slugging it out in this one until Balor hits a nice surprise sling blade on Roddy, sets him up for the John Woo drop kick, and as he goes for it, he does the motion, he does the drop kick motion, but Roddy catches his legs and puts him in a Boston Crab with the knee right into the back that he's been working over, and ooh, it does look painful. Balor reverses that into a pin, only gets a 2 count, so Roddy gets Balor up onto his shoulders in the fireman's carry. He's going for that, like, you know, you launch them in the air, and he puts his knees out into the backbreaker thing. Looks incredible when he does that, but as he goes to do that, he launches him in the air, he launches Balor into the air, but Balor reverses it into a double stomp. Oh my goodness, it looked phenomenal. This then sets poor Roddy up for the Triforce, as I'm now calling it, the John Woo drop kick, which sets Roddy up for the coup de grace. And then a nice little 1916 for the 1, 2, 3. And that is the match. And we end with Adam Cole coming out. He's standing on the ramp. Finn Bálor is in the ring with his NXT title. And he's like, I'm gonna bloody shoot ya. And then we go off the air. This was a fantastic match. I'm gonna give it a B+. It was pretty slow in the beginning, but then it just exploded at the end. It was phenomenal. If you watch anything from this show, please do watch that match. It was so good. And Finn Bálor has been doing such a good job of letting individual members of the Undisputed Era shine, like obviously Kyle O'Reilly, and now with Roderick Strong, like, this feels so good. Roddy felt like a genuine singles competitor in this and felt like he could go on to face Balor or whoever becomes NXT champion next and be a legitimate NXT champion as well. I really want to see that down the line. I really, really want to see that down the line. And also, I'm looking forward to, if we do eventually get there, the fatal 4-way between all the members of the Undisputed Era, all getting their chances to shine and prove themselves that they can go the distance. They can be the big boys on top. So yes, I am giving this match a B+. Really, really, really good stuff. So overall, I'm giving this episode of NXT a C+. It was fine, it had amazing moments, it had no very good moments. For example, the women's title match, the women's tag team title match just wasn't much of anything. I hope we do get something down the line there between the two teams, and I'm sure we will do that. But the whole driving force of NXT at the moment, I feel like, is the whole Undisputed Era, Finn Bálor, all this implosion going on. But that is enough to drive the show to really, really good things. So that didn't really bother me too much. But yeah, I'm giving it a C+. It was fine. Hopefully next week we're setting up for a barn burner. We've got like Io Shirai and Toni Storm in titles matches. We've got blooming Adam Cole and Finn Bálor in a title match. Like, that is going to be unbelievable. So hopefully this week was just setting up for much grander things next week. But yes, I'm giving it a C+. And that's your lot. Thank you so much again. I know last week's video was very long. This week's might also be long, but I can't thank you enough for having me as your shiny substitute teacher for these past 2 weeks. And you've got Tom back. Tom's back next week. Don't worry about it. Well, thank you so much for having me. I love you lots. Kiss, kiss. Mwah, bye. See you. Bye.